Hey, what up, guys? This is a special kind of video. I'm getting more and more questions about the art that I use at the beginning and end of my videos, and I thought I'd kind of explain it. I barely even consider it art. Just a quick explanation. It uses a bit of AI. It's not completely generative. But in the art world, people are really touchy about anything AI related. My artist friends, once I explain what I do with it, are usually like, oh, okay. But I still am really cautious because every once in a while there is somebody who's a bit more zealous and being anti-AI, and they don't stop to look at the nuance of what I'm doing and just kind of jump on the bandwagon and grab their pitchfork and torch and come after me. I thought I would explain it a bit. But like I said, I don't quite consider it art. It's something that I do, kind of like for fun. Like if you watch Pitch Meetings on YouTube, which is one of my favorite channels, he just takes like a screen cap or something of the characters and then messes around with their eyes in Photoshop. It's just something kind of fun to kind of brand your little YouTube channel, even though I have like 100 subscribers. It's just what I do. It's just for fun. I actually do pixel art, and I'll show you what I actually do at the end of the video. But what I'm going to show you here will take maybe 30 minutes or an hour, somewhere in there, depending on how lucky I am. And when I do pixel art, it usually takes me like an entire day to do it because I am coloring each square one by one, except for the fill command, of course. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling on and on, so I'm just going to explain what I do. And my point in all that was that I don't quite consider it art, but it's just something fun that I do for my YouTube channel. Over on the right here, you'll see this is a website called Hero Forge. If you pay, I'm not sponsored by them, but if you pay for the full membership, you have access to more stuff. But basically, it's to design miniatures. Originally, it's designed for making miniatures for your like Dungeons and Dragons game or whatever. You can actually print off your characters. Last I checked, it was about $20 for a little plastic version of your character. They mail it to you. I actually did it for Christmas gifts one year. Gave my friend a plastic miniature of his character in D&D. It was pretty fun. But you design your own, and then they'll print it out and send it to you. Or if you have your own 3D printer, you can just buy the STL file or whatever it is, and just 3D print it at home. Now, somewhere along the line, so what I started doing was I would model characters. And then I liked them so much, I started colorizing them using Photoshop, or actually GIMP, which is, free Photoshop. And then somewhere along the way, Hero Forge realized that people wanted to see their miniatures in color. So they added it to the webpage. And then they started realizing that people just liked making their characters. So part of why you pay for the premium membership is you can make as many characters as you want and colorize them with these 3D models. You don't need to print any of them or order any of them. So that premium membership is basically just to give you access to all the goods. At some point, let's see. Actually, yeah, the Contra video should be up before I post this video. And so if you look at the Contra video, this is the model that I used, and you can tell that the end product was much different. And that's pretty normal because it kind of gets washed through a couple of filters before it gets to the final product. But you kind of have to start with something, and then I just kind of go with it. I'll kind of show you my process. It's kind of weird. So anyway, you'll notice, let's see. Oh, that's perfect, actually. Or is it perfect? No, I'm going to keep it full screen. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that the capture software is continuing to capture what I want you to see. So, yeah, so I'm going to click over on Hero Forge here, and we're going to go ahead and make a new character. It's going to be a female human. Actually, I'm going to actually click new, so I get a completely generic character. Now, we start off with a tunic, pants, and nothing else. You might notice I've got Blaze Fielding from Streets of Rage 2 over in the upper left corner there. And we're going to try to model this character after her. And in particular, I think it might be fun to try to get that hair flick that she does. We'll see. It might be a little bit too ambitious. So right off, I'm going to go into clothing. I don't think you can see my menus. So you're just going to be able to see the character in the middle. But we're going to go into clothing, and what Blaze wears is basically kind of a little crop top thing like this. That's almost exactly what she wears in the game. And then she wears a mini skirt. So let's see if we can find a mini skirt type thing. This Hero Forge has fantasy, sci-fi, and modern elements. There's a lot to choose from. So it's going to take me a moment to find a mini skirt. Let's see here. That's a skirt, but it's more like a little girl skirt. I want like a mini skirt. Like that would be pretty close. Oh, here we go. That is almost exactly what Blaze wears. It even has the belt that she wears. It's almost like they modeled that outfit after her. Okay, so we already have a pretty good outfit. I'm going to take off the pants. I am thinking I maybe want to do leggings underneath. The game sort of hints that she's got some sort of nylons or stockings on or something. Let's see here. Form-fitting cloth pants. Is that a little bit too loose? What she's wearing is really tight. See if I can find. Nope. Having a hard time finding what I want here. Dun, 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 dun. This will be really weird if I don't keep the music in. Elven pants? I think not. Yeah, no, it's got a weird crease in it. Court jester pants. A little bit too loose. We want like, since they're supposed to be like basically tights, they need to be like skin tight or not at all. I don't know why I'm having a hard time finding it. I'm sure I've seen leggings before. So why can't I find them right now? Sometimes there's incompatibilities with different components of the outfit. But this is kind of weird that I can't find it. These are satin pants. No, too loose. Adamantine pants. Nope. Okay, so what is... I could do these ones where they come with leg warmers, which won't be a problem if I give her boots that go above the leg warmers. But I'm very confused where the plain old leggings went. I am logged in, so I should have access to everything. Very weird, but yeah, if I give her boots, it'll cover up her leg warmers, which are kind of weird looking in my opinion. And then I usually go for high-heeled things for my women characters. Not necessarily because I always want them to have high heels, but it helps later in the AI process for the AI to understand like it's a woman that I'm trying to do. Let's see, because if I do this, it'll look at the feet and be like, oh, those are man's feet. But if I do this, it'll be like, oh, that's a woman. Let's see. So those would be completely passable. In fact, I think that's what I'll use. Those look pretty cool. Okay, so outfit-wise, that is basically Blaze. We're gonna go and change her body structure a bit. Now, normally I usually take the clothes off first, do the body, then put the clothes on. But I once tried to do that before, and YouTube actually flagged it for pornography because there was a naked character, even though it was anatomically incorrect model. So that's why I kind of did it in a different order here. Now, keeping in mind that this is supposed to be a miniature for like a role-playing game, the proportions are a little bit off. Like the hands tend to be bigger than I think they should be. And that's, I think, because of kind of a structural thing. Like they want the hands to be strong enough. If you're going to, 3D print this thing, we don't want the hands to be fragile. My solution to this, especially since I'm not actually printing it off, is I will increase the height of the character to maybe around 7 feet tall. And you'll notice that proportionally, the hands are smaller proportionally. Unfortunately, that means that the head is also smaller, but you can manually adjust the head to be bigger. And then basically, the larger the head, the more cartoony the outcome you're going to get. So let's see here. This would be probably realistic-ish. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger because we want it to be kind of anime and cartoony. All right, we also have the ability to do the weight on the arms, and so I could make her have big, beefy arms like I did the Contra girl, or thinner. She actually started off pretty good. Blaze is strong, but she's lean. So I think I'll leave that the way it is. You can change like her upper body to be kind of fatter or thinner too. Let's see. She started off pretty good. And then lower. Actually, I'll probably thin her up a little bit. You can mess around with the posture. I'm not really sure what that will do in our long term. You can make the build. Obviously, it's really obscene looking. Just can't leave it like that, I think. You can even make the arms longer if you want to do a Dhalsim. Okay, and then this part is going to be a little bit tricky. We can do the muscles. If we go all the way up, there's a good chance that the AI I use is not going to recognize her as a woman anymore, even with the corset style top. And so we're going to try to strike a balance between looking buff and looking feminine. So we got, here's just kind of plain no muscles. Here we're going to tone her up a bit. Let's see, can we do a little bit more? Too much, I think. I think that'll be good right there. All right, and then we can also play around with the chest size. The AI likes to take that chest size and really run with it. If there's any open area in the chest, it'll fill it with boob, basically. So we're going to go ahead and actually lower the chest size a bit. And believe me, I'm still going to be wrestling with the AI to get it to understand. So I'm okay with my characters looking sexy. I'm not okay with them looking sexualized, if that makes sense. So once it becomes like an inhumanly sized chest, it really irritates me. I have to end up like photoshopping it back down, give it like a breast reduction basically. I'm going to tuck in that waist a little bit. Again, mostly to get the AI to understand that this is indeed a female character. The belly looks good. And also do the curves. So more padunkadunk basically, or less. We'll do a nice little middle ground there. And then you can do the size of the booty. So you can have that booty stick out. You can have it come in a little bit more. Yeah, and that's the body, all the body measurements basically. All right, so we got the clothing, we've got the body type. I'm going to do a little detour into the face basically. And we are going to, one thing I always do with my anime characters is lower that age. And it makes it more round. Again, the AI will take, it kind of takes all it takes what you give it, but then it can really exaggerate it to an extreme. And I want it to be more anime. Like I want it to be anime and then pixelized. So I gotta be kind of careful about that. Let's see. It changed the shape of her face as well. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really want to mess around with those, I don't think. Like I'm gonna make, yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. Kind of want to leave those. Don't want to mess around with them too much. And then upper width. Well, that's like her head, so do we want to give her a cone head or not? Most of these I'm not going to really use because the AI part is going to do what it wants to do anyway. Okay. Kind of curious though. What's going on with this one? Okay, yeah. So we can kind of give her this nice chiseled look by doing the lower width of the head is narrower. So instead of being all broad like this, go like this. Okay, and then we are going to change her hair. And right now, so the default comes with a single braid. And Blaze has loose hair. Now this one, when you look at it from the front, you can't tell that there is a braid in the back. So we might actually use that one. We'll come back to it and see. Actually, I like that one better. Wavy's more like her hair than textured. It's the same thing. We're not going to be able to see the braid. So it's probably what we're going to use is that one, the wavy one. This would also work, but it's not long enough to do the hair flip, I don't think. This one is too much volume. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and use that wavy one with the fancy braid in the back, but again, we're not gonna be able to see that braid. Okay, now before I pose her, what I like to do is do the coloring. And we can start off with, we'll start here, I think, because that's pretty close to the final coloring we want for her. Let's see, she does have brown hair. I can't remember what color her eyes are, though. I don't know if it matters. I think I'm gonna go, I think she has brown eyes. I'm gonna go with brown eyes, whatever. Okay, so brown eyes. Okay, and then I am gonna look at her skin tone a little bit here. So do we want her to go a little bit tan, more tan, medium deep? I'm gonna try this one. See how that looks. Gotta make sure you get all of her skin, or you'll have like these weird lighter areas. Yeah, I think I like that actually. I'll go with that. Okay, now what? We want to Make sure we have the hair the color that we want it to be. Right now it's a walnut brunette. Here's a chestnut. Nope, we want it more brown, not blonde. This is shiitake. Nope. Sauteed mushroom brunette. A little bit too dark. Black truffle. Nope. I think we have, let's see, lone beast brown. Nope. I think we have the perfect brown right now, actually, so I'll leave that alone. There's a couple things I'm going to do to, again, try to get that AI to recognize it as a woman. And that is, we're going to put some eyeliner on. It's like you basically have to put in all these gender markers to get it. Let's see, strong-winged. Yeah, let's try. I'll try that one. That's not the color it's going to be when I'm done, but probably can't even see it that well just yet. And then we're also going to put a little bit of lipstick on to make her lips fuller and redder. Again, gender marker just to make sure that the AI recognizes that, yes, indeed, this is a woman. All right, and let's fix the eyeliner so it actually looks like, you know, eyeliner. I'm gonna go dark first. And then sometimes I'll do, I actually really like that. Sometimes I'll do colors like blue or something. But I kind of like that the way it is. And then her lipstick actually looks pretty good, I think. If we want to make sure we're going anime style, we can actually go into our facial features and increase the size of her eyes a bit. Let's see here. And then you can actually go into quite a bit of detail. You can like try to make her have epicantic folds and whatnot. But I think that's pretty good for that. Now, her facial expression is pretty boring. So let's go ahead and try to think of, she kind of almost looks like she's winking. So let's see how bad the wink looks. Ugh, that looks terrible. But you can mix. Actually, what we can do, we can have her smirk. A little bit of smirk. A little bit of cocky. Oh, except it's trying to alternate the eyebrows, so that's not going to be a good idea. Okay, so we have a little bit of a smirk. Let's see. Let's see if I want her mouth open a little bit. Nah, I don't really like that. All right, and then that wink. Because it's that eyebrow, yeah. Yeah, I don't like that wink at all, really. I'll just have her kind of smirking a little bit. Can I have her look a little bit more fierce, too? Yeah, I like that. A little smirk, a little fierce. I like that. That's cool. Okay, let's finish coloring her clothing. And this is, to me, this is kind of a tricky part. Let's see. She's pretty well solid color. And then we have the skirt. Okay. Now already I'm noticing a problem, and that is there's not a huge contrast between her skirt color and her skin. think we'll be okay with that. I think we'll be okay, but if we do have problems, ooh, like this might be a better one for more contrast. Since she has fairly light skin, if we go through, this is red, but like a really, like it's like a black with the red highlights. So that's something we could do if we're having trouble getting what we want out of this. In fact, I think we might try that. Go ahead and give her boots that same color. All right. When doing this, you also want to kind of limit the amount of colors you have going on, because the AI will, once there's a certain number of colors, it'll be like, nope, and it'll just start dropping colors. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see, I think black for that. Could do black for her leggings too. That way it would be the same color. The other idea would be just to do a skin color, but like a dark one. Ooh, kind of like that. That's more close to what she really is, but it might get confused and not realize that that's her leg. Let's try that one. And then her belt buckle is kind of odd, so let's see. Oh, that's cool. I like that. All right. So I got pretty good colors. If we have a problem with it, we're going to come back and change her clothing to be something else. In fact, we could change her clothing to have a red, what do I want to say, like a red metallic color. Yeah, and that might really help set it apart from her skin. The skin has a different sort of texture to it. Yeah, I kind of like that. And that way there's more contrast between her skin and her clothing. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. I think we're ready to actually pose her then. Pose, pose, pose. Okay. Body pose. There's lots of different poses. Some, like this, is more of a manly pose, and the AI will struggle with it. Let's see. If I were, so that would be a good one for kicking. This might be a decent one for when she's fighting. But I'm trying to think of what do we want to do for her flipping her hair. Oops, I zoomed out. Okay. So and we can customize these a lot once we get going, but I gotta find a good base, and the legs are not as easy to kind of move around. Actually, I can't see her sprite right now, so I'm gonna look at her sprite for a little bit and see. So this one, she's leaning forward a bit, which would not quite match what I'm going for. So let's see here. This one, I'm trying to just match up the legs a bit more, and this one looks a lot closer to what she's doing with her legs. So let's work with this one. Okay, so we do have a lot to fix. Like her chest should be more flat on towards, or straight on towards us. So let's move her chest so it's twisted more back towards us. Let's see, tilt it a little bit, twist a little bit more, tilt it a little bit, bend it over a little bit. Okay. That looks doable. Okay. And then she is looking to our right. So let's move her head back that way a bit. The art will usually try to get her, both of her eyes facing more or less towards us. So I'm not going to have her try to go profile. Okay, now we do want her arm out of the way. So let's move it. Bend, okay. And then twist. I actually kind of like this. She looks like she's ready to fight. I like that. That's cool. Let's see here. And then actually kind of like that. Okay. Oops. What did I do? Okay. Now, the really hard part is going to be getting this hair flick. So I'm going to take another look at her. Okay, she actually ends up looking more towards our left when she flicks her hair, so I actually need to move her head back that way. Yeah, okay. Now I can actually grab her hair and try to get it over this way as well. And the hair is 3D, so it is a real challenge to get it exactly where you want without hitting a kind of uncanny valley. Like if I left it like this, that just looks weird. It doesn't look like hair. This looks weird. But if I move it up, like it goes up like this, and then I take the tip of it and have it go back down, for example. There's so much you can do. So that looks more like wavy, like flowing hair. All right, now I need to get her hand up into it to look like she's the one flicking it. So that's fun. Let's see, twist it that way. Okay. And then the elbow can also go, right now it looks like she's punching through her own hair, which is really goofy. Okay, which, you know, it's actually easily fixed. You can change the hand. I need to tilt it up a bit. I don't know how weird that's going to look. This whole pose, honestly, is kind of... Ooh, I kind of like that, actually. Okay. This whole pose is really going to be challenging, in my opinion. Let's see here. Actually, I think I like how her hands ended up, so let's go back to her hair and make sure it actually works with it. So... Okay, yeah, I have an idea. Let's put the hair right behind it like that. And like that. And like that. And I have no idea how this is going to go. I really do think this is a really ambitious pose to try to pull off. The other thing is I could try to get her to look like she's blinking or winking like in the sprite, but I'm not sure that's going to work out for me or not. So let's go ahead and try this, okay? So share, go into portrait mode. We'll hide the base. Now you can actually change the lighting. So I can make the light more intense. So it gets more washed out looking. Lower light. You can actually even change where the sun is coming from. But actually looks pretty good, doesn't it? So we want to have basically no light, washed out, kind of in the middle. Actually, I think in the middle sounds kind of good. There's a little bit of danger. Your brown hair is going to turn into blonde hair if you have too much light on it. Let's try this though. This looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom in as much as I can without cutting off anything. All right, and then we're going to take a snapshot of this and see if we can get something good out of it. Okay, so that's what we're going to work with. We might have to come back to the drawing board again if this doesn't work out, but that's what we're going to try. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a pause in the video, and I'll just kind of show you the result and kind of explain how I got to where I got. All right, what up guys? So I'm going to explain the next part of my process. There is an app on the iPhone called AI Mirror, and it has different filters basically. So you take an image, you put in AI Mirror, and then you have some settings, and then it spits out pictures. So this is where the AI comes in. So we've taken our Hero Forge Blaze fielding, and I like to run it through Crayon first, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like here in a sec. But the reason they do Crayon first is the Hero Forge image. This is meant to be like a plastic miniature that you can play on like Dungeons and Dragons, right? And so it's a little bit chunkier. If I run it through Crayon, it's going to take away that chunkiness of that kind of like that plastic fakeness, and it actually breaks it down into its more basic components, and Crayon ends up being like a really basic anime. So let's take a look. So we see the big anime eyes, but you see that the colors are simple and the lines are simple, and that's where I want to start really. On that previous slide, you could see that I had the imagination value at 50, which basically means, you know, kind of keep to the original, but you can add some more elements kind of thing. I actually like this first one a bit, except for the straps. I'm going to try to keep the clothing on Blaze as close to the original as I can, and she doesn't have straps in the game. And the AI got confused and gave her a glove on her left hand. So this one I'm like, I like it, but let's see if we can do better. Next one definitely is out. Now I can Photoshop some of these things, but this is too much. She's got red hair, she's missing a finger, and her tights are more red than anything. This one, a little bit better, but there's just too much red. And that's the thing with Crayon is the higher imagination value you go, the more you're going to lose the variety of colors, the more kind of monocolor it's going to become. And then here's the next one. This was one where I was like, oh, not too bad. The hands are still a hot mess, and I think I can do better. So of those, this is the one I like the most. I usually save one HD image from each batch just to, in case the future batches are even worse. So this is the one I said, okay, this is the one I will work with if I can't find better. In AI Mirror, there is a face fix setting. So I put in the gender as female, I put the skin tone in as fair. I left the imagination value the same, but it's hard to explain what it does exactly, but it eases up the processing power because you're like, okay, it's female and they've got light skin. And so typically you'll get a better image out of it, not always. So looking at this, we got too much red. Otherwise, it's a cool picture, but too much red. And then we have a strap that kind of disappears into her clavicle, which is weird. This one is cool. I like how it looks, but it's not really Blaze. So if I was making my own original character, I might do something with this, but we're losing too much of what makes Blaze Blaze. She looks like a schoolgirl with a corset top. So yeah, no. And then this one, not too bad, except that one eye is kind of messed up. And the fewer things that we have messed up, the easier the rest of this process is going to be. So we're going to try to do better than that. And then again, too much red, really. So of those ones, I actually like this one the best between the eyes, the pose. This one I felt like, okay, I could Photoshop this back to what I wanted. But what I ended up doing is lowering the imagination value to 35%. And we ended up with a blonde girl with a red cloud. Not sure what happened. Okay, hopefully we're back online. This is a pretty image intensive Google Slides thing that I'm using to show these pictures, so that's probably what's going on. All right, so yeah, we have blonde girl with a red cloud. We have just blonde girl. This one I could fix. I could change her hair back to brown with some Photoshop skills. This one's already closer to what we want, so I'd more likely work with something like this. And then this one's actually getting farther off from it. So I ended up using this one. And take a good look at it. Oops. Yeah, take a good look at it. Obviously the legs are red, I need to fix those. And then the chest. When you look at it in Crayon-Boy, you might not notice how bad the chest is right away, but it is not going to look good when we switch to anime mode. It's going to be, people are going to wonder about me a little bit. So I did end up Photoshopping. So that's actually the same image I just showed you. Pulled that chest up a little bit tighter so it's not so out of control. And then I changed it to look like she's got, like nylons or leggings instead of just red. But yeah, you can distinctly see 5 fingers in each hand, which is good. The eyes aren't too messed up. The pose was cool. There's a lot of potential with this one, so that's why I used this one. All right, so the next filter I run it through is Anime 2D. We're going to start off with the 50% imagine value. And already, you can see this is cool. This looks like an anime Blaze. But we're going to start getting more and more picky, because each time we're picky, it helps the next step be easier for us to get what we want. So this one, for example, it's all right. I'm not liking her right hand. I'm not liking that so much. The rest of it is usable. And then you'll notice that these all are landing pretty close. Like, there's not huge differences. I prefer this one a little bit over this one because she's got a bit more of a tan to it. And then also the expression on her face. This one she's a little bit more kind of keen. This one she's like that really passive looking anime character. And also the chest is getting way too large in this one, so this is one I definitely wouldn't use. It's pretty cool, but we're missing a finger. And then you'll notice we're losing color on her boots. Her boots are supposed to be red, they're turning brown here. And then this one I actually like. I like the expression, I like a lot of what's going on, but what I don't like is that her outfit is starting to gain details that aren't supposed to be there, like the gold trim, and then there's like buttons. So even though I really like the expression and the pose, I'm not liking what it's doing to her outfit. We're going to do the same trick of the fair female and see if we get different results. And already this one is great. This might even be the one I ended up using, I'm not sure, but we'll see in a couple seconds. But I'm not seeing anything that's just really standing out saying that this is bad. See, this one's even cooler. I like a little bit more tan. I like the expression and that kind of the head tilting down. It's cool. This one's not bad. Except the hand, that left hand is kind of a garbled mess. And then this one's pretty similar, pretty cool, except for that left hand's a little bit garbled. Here I'm going to show you what happens if you go higher up in the Imagine value. Typically, the higher up in the Imagine value you go on Anime 2D, the bigger the chest you're going to get. So, and then we're getting some details in here that aren't in the original. So she's got this kind of cool trim on her skirt. Hands are a mess. Pretty cool, but the hands are a mess still, and we're losing that color in the boots again. Yeah, it's alright, but that chest is getting big, and the hands are a mess. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scale back on this one. I'm going to go down, so this is the one I like the most from that previous batch, but I'm actually going to go down to 35 Imagine value on this one. And I think this is actually the one I end up using. If you look at it, it's just, we got 5 fingers in each hand. The pose is cool. The expression's going to change when you run the last filter over it, so no big problem there. And the chest is a little too big, but I think we're going to do okay. It's not going to be obscene. I think we'll be okay. And you can see most of these are very similar. Again, this one's a little bit browner tanned, so I like that a little bit better. The really pale one, not so much. Again, adding to the outfit, I don't like the gold trim. And then actually this one's pretty cool. I think I ended up saving this one as well, in case the other one didn't work out. But I worried a little bit about the hand, because it looks like she has 6 fingers on her left hand, and that's going to mess up the AI. So yeah, I did end up using this one, like I mentioned. And then the last filter I run it through is called Pixel Art, and I actually run it through at an Imagine value of 0. Because I basically want to take that anime character. Actually, I just realized. No, I had it backwards. It was this one that I used. I'm getting myself confused. Okay, anyway, this is the one I used. Anyway, I'm going to put it at 0 Imagine value because I just want the anime character and I want it pixelated. So this is the first batch of what we got out of that. From this point forward, most of them are usable. This would have been cool. I could have used that. Don't like this one as much. A little bit weird stuff going on with the hands and the top. Same. And this one, the top's getting really weird. So I did like that one. But the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to run it again with the face fix, fair-skinned female, and this time I'm going to bump the Imagine value up to 10. If I leave it the Imagine value at 0, sometimes with the face fix, it actually kind of drops the pixel look, and it looks just like a very basic anime, which is, it's fun, but for my YouTube videos, I like to keep it pixelated. And it's a faux pixelated. If you actually zoom in, it's not really pixelated. It's just evoking that pixelated look. So yeah, this one, not quite. The top's really weird. It's like it's glued on. This one, we're getting close. This is already pretty cool. The top looks like it has buttons, which is weird to me. And then we have the gold trim again. Not a big fan of that. Now this one, I'm actually going to try Imagine Value 25 on the pixel art. Usually a bit too far to go. So this one, don't like it. Don't like it. I mean, it's not bad, but it's like it's going a little too far with it. I actually like her face and her hair on this one. This one's not terrible. This is almost usable. And then this one's kind of cool, but there's a couple problems with it I don't really like. Her chest looks a little weird, her hands look a little weird. So then I'm going to drop it back down to 15, and that's going to be a kind of nice middle ground. So not quite, pretty darn close, close. Yeah, not quite. Okay, but so I'm not going to quite show you the final one. That'll be for the actual video. But you can see I'm narrowing in here. Like this one is pretty darn close. If the hands were a little bit better, I would have used this. So yeah, anyway, it gets tedious at this point because I just run it, and then eventually I choose the best batch, or the best one out of like a batch of 20 or 30 of these. Anyway, that just kind of explains my process a little bit. I think we're going to stop here for a sec, and I'm going to show you my actual pixel art, which is different than this. To me, this isn't art. This is just a fun thing I do for my YouTube video. My actual art, I'll show you, is a bit different because I actually draw it myself. All right, so I just wanted to show you an example of the pixel art I actually do. It's one of my most recent drawings. I've been getting better. I actually did not start doing pixel art until October of last year, so it has been about 11 months. Yeah, 11 and a half, no, 10 and a half months. About 10 and a half months since I started teaching myself pixel art. My early attempts are pretty crude and amateur, but I've been getting better. But obviously this is Hatsune Miku and her outfit from Ghost Rule. Took some liberties with how the outfit looks, but I think it looks pretty darn good. With this, I can use a reference. I can take Hatsune Miku and kind of study her or whatever. I recreated Hatsune Miku in Hero Forge so I could get the pose that I wanted. And then kind of mess around with the hair and the lighting so I can figure out the lighting. So I can use a reference, but the difficult thing with actual pixel art is getting depth in the lighting. And so, yeah, if you take a good look at her, things that are farther away are darker, things that are closer are lighter for the most part. There's a bigger contrast, like on her skirt there's a bigger contrast because it's supposed to be a little bit shiny, whereas in her skin, the contrast between the different shades of skin is not quite as much. The other thing is, I typically, as you should with pixel art, limit myself to about 4 different shades of the same color. Most pixel artists don't do more than that because back in the pixel art days, like let's see, 256 colors. If you're making a Sega Genesis game or Super Nintendo game, you didn't have access to even that full palette at any one time. So the thing that makes pixel art so great, or the pixel artists so great, I should say, is what they were able to do with so little. Heck, you go back to the Commodore 64, which I've talked about before. It had access to a lot of colors, but not at the same time. So you had to be really careful with how you drew your pictures. And so pixel art ends up sort of evoking a feeling in an image rather than really showing you an image. So yeah, if you were to zoom in on this Hatsune Miku that I drew, for example, you could see that her mouth is maybe, 12 squares. But you can see her expressions, pretty interesting. Her nose, I'd have to actually zoom in myself, but it's like, by the way, that's Juby Phonics ghost rule going in the background. So I recommend you check it out. She does a really good job with it. I gotta turn that off. It's gonna keep playing, isn't it? Yeah, I'll put some Bad Apple in the background as I finish up. But I'm just talking too much. That's my problem. Anyway, I'd have to zoom in to tell, but Miku's nose, it looks to be about 5 squares. And yet there's sort of an illusion. So when you look at it, you can see there's a nose, and your brain sort of fills in the rest. And that's kind of the real cool thing about pixel art. Now, your brain does that with all art, honestly. The thing about pixel art is that it's just more in your face. Like I said, if you zoom in, you're going to see things like just like, oh, her ear is just a bunch of squares, things like that. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Just wanted to kind of point out the difference between my actual pixel art and then the images that I use for my YouTube video intros, which I don't really call art. They're just more kind of a fun little hobby or a fun little quirk that I do with my videos. But I get lots of questions about them. And some people even get excited, like, whoa, where's this new pixel art coming from? Guys, there's some wonderful pixel artists out there, some real ones. So definitely go check them out. And apparently I'm one of them. But what I'm doing is just for fun. It's just evoking pixel art. It really isn't pixel art. If you zoom in on it, it is not. It's got way too many colors. It's just kind of this faux pretend pixel art, but it works for the channel, I think, anyway. I'm talking too much, so that'll be it. Hopefully it answers some people's questions about where that art comes from, and yeah, I guess I should give some credit to some people here. So once again, Hero Forge is how I do my 3D models. I don't really own those assets, but by the time it's gone through the AI meat grinder a couple times, I don't really know who owns it anymore. Don't think there's any intellectual property that's been. There's a lot of legal stuff that still needs to get figured out. I gotta remember the name of it. There's the app that I use on my phone is AI Mirror, not to be confused with Mirror AI, which is a completely different company /app/product. But yeah, that's what I run through to get my first kind of my anime look and then my pixel look. And then a shout out here, since I have my Ghost Rule Hatsune Miku, shout out to Juby Phonic for doing a wonderful English cover of Ghost Rule. And yeah, I actually listened to that song on repeat while I was writing my novel, and it kind of helped me focus. I've mentioned a couple times I'm kind of ADHD, and it kind of became it's almost like a Pavlovian conditioning that when I put on Ghost Rule, I just went into like a writer beast mode, and I cranked out an entire YA novel in about, I think it was less than 3 months. And then of course I've been editing and revising it for 6 months, but the longer that process goes on, the more it's just polish, and the less that things are actually significantly changing. All right, I'm going to wrap it up so I don't have to do any more YouTube videos. So hope that helps, and I'll see you guys next time.